I'm Dennis Warwood, retired USU Extension agent and a longtime gardener. We've been talking about high tunnels, and today we've got our trellises erected and we're ready to start training some of the plants up some strings. So we have trellises. These T-trellises happen to be about 6 foot 8 inches tall, and there's nothing magic about that. That's just the height that would fit inside of this particular high tunnel. The tomatoes are trained to a Y shape, and so there'll be 2 strings for each plant, and as the plant goes up we will clip the plant to the strings. And what we will use are these little plastic clips that you can buy at greenhouse supply stores in bulk, and they're called tomato clips, and they're designed with some little ears right there at the hinge that clamp onto the string, and then this goes around the plant and locks, so the stem of the plant is in here, it's not getting pinched, and the string is grasped firmly inside of the hinge there. Now the string I'm using is just the cheapest, lightest weight baling twine I could find. That was what was available to me. It doesn't cost very much and it's strong. So I've tied the strings to the PVC trellis just using a slip knot, and we'll go ahead and attach this to the plant now. All right, this was the original stem of the plant, and so at every one of these leaf nodes there's been a sucker that was removed, and the one sucker that we left was the sucker that originated just below the first fruit cluster. So there's the fruit cluster, the very first one, and I've left that sucker, and that has become the second stem of the plant. So the plant has a Y shape, and from that point on you will remove every sucker that develops, but these will grow up and get to be 7 or more feet tall.
So why do you do the Y?
That just gives you 2 stems per plant and takes makes better use of your vertical space. The plant has enough vigor, it can support 2 stems. If I left all the suckers, it would become a big bush with lots of ungainly growth. Now, if I was growing out in a field and didn't care about trying to train it up a trellis, then I just let it go and wouldn't worry about it. Or if I was in a cage, I would leave the suckers and it would just fill up the cage. But training up wires, that's how it works. All right, we'll put the stem around the plant. It's a little bit tricky down there close to the ground. We've pinched the string inside of those little claspers, and that's how the initial attachment is made. So the string is actually attached to the base of the plant. And from that point, we'll just come up every couple of nodes, every couple of leaves, and attach another clip. And another clip. That string doesn't want to fit. There we go. Just like that. We'll do so with the other stem. Get through the leaves. And there we go. Now, the other thing that's important to know about these plants is that all of these are indeterminate varieties, meaning that they will continue to grow until the cold weather kills them. And so if I planted what's called a determinate variety, they grow to a certain height, and then the terminal bud on the plant becomes a flower bud. It produces a flower there, and there's no more growth. So if I planted a determinate variety here, my plants might get up this tall and then quit. With the indeterminate varieties, they'll continue to grow all summer and produce fruit as long as the weather allows them to.
How do you determine if it's indeterminate? Is it
Usually,
on the label?
Usually it'll say on the little label that that's in the tray pack when you buy them. Or if you have a question, just look up the variety name online, and usually you can find a description that tells you whether it's determinate or indeterminate.
So the value of this is you'll have fruit till it freezes, basically.
Yes, and it makes a much larger plant that will just keep growing. If I was using a different system, if I wanted to grow in a cage or just have a more concentrated fruit set, then I would pick a determinate variety. It would get to a certain size and then the plant would quit growing and ripen all the fruit. But to take advantage of the longer growing season I have inside the high tunnel, we're using indeterminate varieties, and they will keep growing until the cold kills them in the fall.